First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to slide this guy back down. We'll have it out of the way in no time, but just wanted everybody to see kind of where I'm at. I'm building one up right here. We're about 3/4 of the way through. We've got all the arms and the motors, the ESC's done. We've got some of the receiver done down here, the buzzer, the flight controller stack. Let me drop this thing off of this frame. We don't need that in the vise. Some of the wiring done inside. Really not too complicated. You've got power, you've got signal, you've got a little bit of wiring to happen. So everything's a process. We have documented this. We've got this is really our video build series that we're going to go through, and then we've also got a document online where it's all captured in high definition pictures, stills and images to be able to have everyone a great resource to just be able to go through. We link out on that document all of the tools that it takes to be able to build what we build. We've got recommendations, we've got favorites of hardware that I can't say enough about. I mean, these things that we've got, they're not really expensive. You've got to have yourself a soldering iron. Bloop, let's get that in the way. You're talking Amazon, you're talking $50. It's not much, but because it's got this thermostat controller, you can really get what you need out of it. You got a very accurate heat gun. Again, it looks expensive. It's not. It's like $50. And when you get the right tools to be able to do this build, it makes the build loads easier. So I can only highly recommend you guys really kind of check out the build document that's coming. I'll be linking all that on the website soon, and we'll make life easy for everyone.
So we have Jay Stu asking if we recommend the KISS ESCs with one shot.
Fair answer there, Will. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of those going on. They're an amazing ESC. Yep, they catch fire. There's so much changing in the world of ESCs. This industry is pushing those manufacturing companies so hard and so fast that they're struggling to keep up. There's a lot of test pilots out there getting some good success with different ESCs. Some of the best stuff right now, they're called the Little Bees. Will Surf, if you want to throw any more information up about those, feel free, mate. That's the one that we're really heading towards right now. So yeah, let's just kind of dig on in. I have a whole slew of equipment to be able to just discuss. That's the first thing we're going to go through. We're just going to start talking about some of the gear, some of the hardware, what it takes. Everybody that buys a kit off of us, you're going to get a kit, you're going to get some stickers. You're going to get all of this gear you see in front of you on the table. This is all it takes. It's not that much, right? It's just a bunch of wires, it's some propellers, it's a couple of pieces of electronics. Nothing too much, definitely nothing too technical. If kids of the age of 15, I'm sure most of them are wizards that really do pull this off, but if kids at 15 can be doing this, you know, anybody can. I've personally had my 12-year-old, who's now 13, but he's built a drone with me. Don't be afraid of soldering. It's super easy. Yes, there's a trick to it. It's not rocket science, it's soldering. So you got all the carbon over here, you got all the different plates, everything you need. It's all super spelled out. Like I said, when we do this build log on the documentation, you're going to see part numbers for all this stuff. We're going to see pictures for it. We're going to call it out, and you're going to really understand what it is and where we go. You got little rubber balls. These are our Tommy's balls. We are huge fans of those. Loads of different little steel screws, different sizes. We're providing all of this. Normally you guys have to source all of this. You're going to just get like carbon. So here's the big difference. Naze 32 flight controller. Phenomenal little piece of gear right here. We're stoked about this one. We've gotten ourselves quite a lot of them. The Afro Flight. You don't need the GPS. You don't need many things because, let's be real, you're the pilot. Power distribution, wires, buzzers, LEDs, because man, everybody's got to look cool in the air, right? There's got to be a little bit of flashiness to it. Got all your straps, a few pins to be able to do the soldering job with. You got to be able to solder what's happening. More screws, some nuts, some purple. Got to go with the brand, gents. Got to get the purple. Everybody's got that. We've sourced all the nylon standoffs. Everything you need to be able to do different configurations. We're not really locking you in. We're giving you choices. We are totally providing a kit and a methodology to say this is how we do it. This is easy, but you know, go for it. Go nuts. We've seen our team pilots do so many variations on our build. A whole ton of zip ties. We want to make everybody's life easy. You can go with custom colors. They can match your props. They can match our purple. You can have some spares for the field. Everybody's going to need some zips, so we chuck a bunch of those in. The right kind of size of heat shrinks. We got a whole slew of these. Nobody needs to go and source their own heat shrink. We want to provide it. Some of the cables need some protection with the braided nylon mesh, so you got some really quality material right there. And we got ESCs. They look crazy, they look complicated, there's nothing really to them. Small capacitor, a few FETs, and a little processor on them so that you can even flash these. They all run firmware. Everything's customizable. You got a little mini USB on the edge of this. Just plugs in. It's all software. We'll do the whole software once we get the drone built. Alright, that's pretty much the breakdown of the kit. I'm not going to go too deep on that. I'm going to have to keep running back to my own document here, just to make my life easy. Where's my dog? What'd I do with that, Dave? There we go. Alright, so I am not sharing the build doc online with everybody currently. You know, there's a little bit of development work. I want to make it real pretty, real shiny for the public consumption, so bear with me on that one. We're there, but this is really just a build video series, so we're going to go through it. We're going to turn this guy on. Let's get some power going. Flick the light on over here. How are we looking? Cameras for the FPV, 600 TV lines, microcam. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. The 600 TV lines, the micro cameras. We're really enjoying the Sony HAD 600 TV line cameras. Those guys. Let's see if we can get our hands on one of those. Oh, you know, I got them over here, mate. Yeah, there we go. Out. Oh. Nope. Deal with that later. Yeah, we're rocking with this guy, mini video camera. We're getting them from Surveil Zone. That's about the best price we can find. It is the 1/3 Sony Super HAD 2 CCD IR block. So yeah, you're looking at 12 volt. The model is CC1333-B. It's a PAL 600 TV lines. We used to rock the 900 TV lines. They cost almost twice the price as these. The quality on your FPV really doesn't change that much. The bottleneck again is the 5.8 radio transmission, so we found that they were kind of dying a little easy on crashes. These ones seem a lot more bulletproof. A lot of people are going with some of the other style cameras. Man, I've forgotten where I put all my stuff. Here we go. Some of these run cams too, these are pretty good. It kind of gives you the option. The mini video cameras are like a plate, whereas these you get like a housing. So you can sometimes get more tilt on these. If you're a little more advanced, you're gonna find yourself diving into the realms of those. Will, I know you rock a really good camera. If you feel free to throw up your link that you run. Tons of options out there. Again, it's in our build doc. Dave, you want to throw a link up on the stream to our build doc? Sorry, not our build doc. Our recommended hardware list. That would be amazing.
Sure.
Hook that up for everybody.
Later, Brandon. We're going to be around Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. So be sure to follow the channel, follow our social, check us out. We'll be here.
Alright, I'm going to put away a whole bunch of pieces. We really don't need them just yet, so when I need it, I'll be pulling it back out. We're going to start off doing one of the first things. Some things you're going to do in order. We're going to just knock out all the arms. We're going to get arms. We're going to get motors. I'm going to need you to get some motors out.
Where are we at?
The back of that closet, pal.
Oh,
Yeah. We have an efficient storage area. Really, really efficient. Bloop. Chuck a bunch of this gear away. Don't need that guy yet. I'm going to use 2 of these. We're going to reuse some of this stuff. We've got little 22 gauge wire. Don't need all of that right now, but I am going to pull some of this into the mix and into the game. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, don't need any of that right now. Don't need frame. And we give different camera plates for different options of cameras. This one's going to use the board cam. This one's going to help use some of those other framed out cameras that come in the shells. We're even supplying stuff like this, guys. I mean, this is double-sided sticky foam. We found a way to be able to stick it to itself on here so that it does come off, even though it doesn't look like it bloody well does when I'm trying to show it. But yeah, I mean, that's how it comes on a roll, so it does come off. We're providing you a bunch of these on the top. As you go through the build log, you're going to rip one off and use it, and rip another one off and use it here, use it there. So we've really we've thought of everything. We're not leaving you guys out to the lurch for any of that. Okay, that's good enough. 2204s. Yeah, let's go for some Cobra 2204 motors. Alright, these little fellas are our voltage regulators. Super small, amazing bits of gear. You've got to have them because some of your batteries are going to be pumping out 14.4 volts, and that's no good. Some things like the Naze flight controller only wants 5, other things want 12. So you got to play nice, and you got to deal with making these what you need them to be. I'm going to get my flux out. I'm going to do the safe thing, use my glasses. Thank you, sir. And
should I leave this on?
nah, you can punch that back in, mate. I think we're good. Thank you, though. Alright, multimeter. Everybody needs one of these. You don't have to have this one. I managed to get my hands on a Fluke. It's obviously amazing. You can get like a $10 one or a $20 one off of Amazon. They work all the same. You keep an eye on this. What is going on? It's the fastest time it's taking you to build one. Sorry guys, in fact, this up. Okay, One Nut, peace. Thanks, man. Much love to you. Go and yeah, go hang out with X Factor. What a dude. So stoked. Okay, Drone Singer. So the fastest time I've ever built one, I've probably knocked one out in about 6 hours. I got a mate who is on the team, and he's a local, and he's whipped one out in 4 hours. That's pretty good going. You can crank through it. I'm thinking, you do it enough, you're pretty seasoned, you're probably going to get one done in 3 hours, and that's probably tops. Some things are tedious, they just take time. We're obviously going to kind of milk it because we're going to explain a whole lot of this, but if you're pumping a drone out in 4 hours, you're moving. It's not your first drone that you've built. Yeah, mate. J-Stu, I know, right? Man, I want somebody to show me how to use this thing further than just volts and ohms, because this thing has so much power, and I read the book and I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to use that. But I'm lucky enough to have one of these. It came with a very, very early engineering training course that I took. Dave, I might need you to... Can you moisten me, please, Dave?
You need a little moisten?
Moisten me. I'm not going to get very far without being moist.
You want to explain to them what I'm doing?
Dave's put a little water on my sponge so that I can solder properly. We're not going to leave that one open too long. Alright, I keep my solder kind of hidden underneath. Big fan, tin core. Don't use the lead. Now this is a pretty good one. I like the thin stuff. You can fold it back on itself to get some heavier jobs done. But yeah, what's up? You're upstairs on your own. Come here. Come and hang out. You're fine. Yeah, no worries. Not too much chatter out of you though, please, darling. You can just hang out. We're still online. We're still talking well to the world. So, would you like to help? You can open these. If you'd like to open these, that would be a great big help to me.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, no, I need to give you a knife or something. That's really dodgy.
What?
Yeah.
I have the hiccups.
Alright, you deal with those hiccups. So, gonna get a little solder going here. One of these ends is already pre-tinned. Here's the purpose, guys. The first step is we're going to set the voltage out on these. So quick little bit of soldering, tinning, stripping. I can't be doing these big fat ends down to these tiny little junctions right here. Yeah, it is. Like I said, not too much chatter out of you. Dave, can you see the stream? Because my screen's gone black. I want to be able to... Oh, you know what? I'm a lunatic. I've got the actual streaming software.
Daddy.
Could I be any more of a noob? Alright, here we go. Let me get this camera set up just a little better. Let's get in on this. Cool. Alright, thanks. Nugget, you can throw that in the rubbish bin down there. Rubbish. Alright, these ends are also tinned, so we're looking pretty darn good.
Here, Dad.
Yeah, mate. Cool, nice one. Yeah, put them down here when you're done. You're going to open them up and take out the insides. I need all the bits done too. Alright. Alright, so I don't mind holding the big ones. They're not going to transfer too much heat, but I don't really like holding the little ones. Those usually get a little bit singy, and nobody likes that. So we should be able to just use what's on here and join these two. This is going to be like the dirtiest solder that I ever do during this process, because I really don't care. These are going to be unsoldered just as soon as I manage to get this job done. Get some solder on the iron, heat these fellas up, stick them together,
Daddy.
job's done.
Careful, Daddy.
Yeah, right, I know. Totally be careful. I will.
You're almost gonna burn your hands.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for caring. You're adorable. Alright, a bit more of the same. Get the tip wet. Just the tip.
Not the whole thing.
Still counts. Alright, same. Let's just bloop. Let's just get those to stick. Nobody really cares. Kinda dirty. Done. Alright, we don't want any crossover happening, so a couple of little bits of spare heat shrink. I'm going to whack those on the end. Again, super temporary. Just, whatever you've got. You can use electrical tape. I've obviously just got so much of that hanging around that I'm just going to use it. Can't speak highly enough of this heat gun for this job. Loads of people use lighters, loads of people use paint strippers, but you're going to have problems. Nice one, yeah, put that all down there. Just open the box and put it all over there. So these are the best. 200 degrees is what we set this at, and it works beautifully. You put the device back down and it turns itself off. You really don't have to mess with it, so worth the investment if you're going to go through this. Right, get all the motors out for me. I don't want them in that foam either, so you can do that. When you're done like that, that's perfect.
Okay.
It's amazing. I've got my own little labour camp here. There's no labour like child labour. Oops.
Daddy.
Is that politically incorrect? Alright, a little bit of flux. Help that stick. It can be a bit dirty, but, I'm a fan of the flux. Not everybody is. I know it's got some flux in the resin core that we've got going on. But yeah, I use it anyway. So these little guys, voltage regulators, flip them upside down. You've obviously got an in and an out, and it gives you a minus and a plus. So make sure you know which one you're going to. I'm going to go to the in, and we can probably get a little closer on this, but
Yeah, I'd say sure.
yeah. Bloop. All right. See if we can't figure that out. Stay still, little camera. Focus, 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 and alright, not going to focus. Anyway, you can get the idea. That literally says in right there with a minus next to it, and that says in there, and it's got a big arrow, so go figure, that's how you do it. We're going to stick this in these little helping hands. Another thing that's just kind of invaluable for being able to do this little tinkering work. As you saw earlier, I've got that panna vise for holding the bigger jobs, and then I keep these little helping hands for the small stuff. I don't want to crush any components, so I'm only going to hold it very carefully. Over the pieces in minus is my finger closest to me, so I'm only going to hold it like that over the corner, but that's good enough for me. Doesn't matter which one of these two spots that I go for, I just need to get the the ground. Bloop. Man, I'm trying to do this out of the camera angle. Should have practiced this before I went for it.
You'll get better at it.
Alright. Now guys, wear the goggles, because let's be real, you might get something to the cornea. Nobody wants that. Thanks, little nugget. You did a great job. My minion worker. A little bit more. And again, this is a super dirty job. I'm really not caring, because these are just going to come off as soon as I get the work done. Oh yeah, I forgot to pre-tin. I forgot to pre-tin the bloody wires. I'm like, that's not sticking so good. Let me pre-tin that thing. What's up, rookie? Too much coffee, Dave. Way too much coffee.
Never too much coffee.
More beer, less coffee. Alright, so bloop. Come on, baby. Stop making me have to work too hard for this. It's good whistling you figured out there, miss.
Okay, I'll look at the camera.
Okay, there we go. We've got this guy wired in. So here's the reason why I use this wire. We need to find a battery source. We've got to get the right voltage. So this is what you're going to actually use to power the drone at the end of the day. So I've just used our existing wiring. We've used a tiny bit of this. Now I've got my own little rig to be able to come up with that kind of a device. On the outside you can see those two little pinholes right there. This is all the outputs, positive and negative. And then we've got this little, we've got to try and figure this camera out. We've got this little screw on the right hand side that enables us to adjust the voltage. That's this little silver screw right there. Let me just check the chat, see what's happening, see what's throwing down. Sorry, I'm not paying too much good attention there.
Love you, Daddy.
It's extremely unstable at 2 inches. The whole setup is glorious. Glorious! Names 32 stability. I'm not sure if it's a pin
Glorious
settings.
of everything.
Yeah, man. J-Stu. Sometimes the name's 32. It takes tuning. We're going to review all of that. We are literally going to give away the settings. We have got master tuners on board, and we're going to make it so simple for everyone. We're going to be like, just download these settings, copy, paste, fly. We want to make it that easy. And of course, they're really fun to play around with and tweak it out and change your settings, of course. But you know, we're looking to make it simple for people. And Drone Singer. What software am I using to stream? Open Broadcaster software. Twitch TV, make it super simple, man. They put a real good help file on there. It's literally stepping you through it, kind of like I'm about to do. Step by step, check the box, press go, and it worked. It worked right out of the box. I was really impressed. Oh yeah, Dave already answered that. Wow, I should really read. We are located, so we're in Colorado. I've been living here now for 17 years. I totally feel like it's home. The other half of Drone X Labs crew is in Australia, down on the Gold Coast. We've got some really cool stuff coming out of them. It's where my brother lives, and he's kind of one of the main co-owners of this operation. And we've got some really cool people down there that are, I don't know, the American term, the OG of drone racing. They've been doing it for years, and they're part of our crew. They're part of our people.
That's my hand.
There's your hand. Get your hand out of there, you cheeky monkey. What amp load are these ESCs of yours? These are 30 amp. We're pushing the limits of how big, how fast, and how badass you can go. So we really want to make sure that we've got enough amperage to be able to handle what we're asking the motors, the props, and the batteries to do. I'm not sure that you need much more over 20, but you know, why? I'm good actually. But why? You know, why push it? Why risk it? I'm sure there's times when it spikes up above 20 amps, and you want something that can deal with it. No picking your nose on camera. Yeah, that's gross. So gross. Alright, cool. So, next step. We're going to have magical moments where like someone's random hand's going to come in. We're going to talk about... We're going to talk about a little bit of batteries and how you set this up and what this is going to take. We want to make sure everybody's pretty clear about why you do what you do and how you do it.
Oh, Daddy.
I'm going to get 2 different batteries out. Excuse me, kids. You got to budge. Minion. Off with you, little minion. Excuse me. Toodles. There you go. You can stand right there. So we're going to talk about 2 different batteries. 3S, 4S. 3S batteries are going to run, that's 3S, 3 cell is what that stands for. I don't know why they use S, there should be something else, but whatever, it's 3S. It's 11.1 volts, and so that's what you can expect. When you're fully charged, it's 12. When you've got a 4S battery, you are rocking 14.4. So what I always like to use when I do this step is a 4S battery, because it gives you more volts than you're attempting to have as the output. It makes your job easier at this point. You can do it with a 3S. You want to do it with a fully charged battery. The only way to get close with a 3S is a full charged battery, and honestly, you're kind of guessing at the very end. There's a little bit of voltage loss, so I'm just going to check out right now. Move that in just a little. I'm going to check out what this 3S battery's at. You got a little plus sign right here, you got a little minus sign right here, so I'm not going to cause too many sparks. I should be cool. And in we go. We've got a 12.21 volt going on. Alright, that's that guy. Let's see where I'm at with this 4S battery. All my battery packs, no, I usually say don't keep them charged, but hey, that one's been around for 2 years and I only use it for goggles now. Same, positive, negative. I've got 15.39 going on right here. So that's the one I'm going to use. That's the one I recommend everybody to use. Go for a 4S. Get yourself a 4S battery when you're doing this. If you're going to do it, let's just quickly review. If you're going to do it with a 3S, literally you're going to go through here and you're going to be twisting it to get it almost to 12, and it's not going to go to 12, and then it's just not going to seem like you've got the number right, and you're going to think, man, this thing can't give me 12 volts. Well, that's not right. You're just getting some resistance. It's just not coming through. That's why I'm telling everyone, use the 4S. You're going to get more volts than you need, and you're definitely going to be able to figure out what the 12 volt and the 5 volt is. 5 volt's always going to be easy to set because it's not really a problem. Da, da, da. Sit still. Alright, good enough. So this is where the extra magic hand seems to come in. These are marked on the top two. You got a little plus right here, you got a little minus right here. Obviously the power goes straight through, so no real worries. Let's see where this guy is set. We're set at 10.9. I'm not going to cheat, Dave. I'm going to do this on my own. Usually the magic third hand comes in, but you know what? I'm going to try as much as I can not to use the magic third hand, and we're going to show you how to do this more on your own. I,
Dave, am the magic third hand.
Magic third hand. There's that fucking screwdriver we use for this job. Here we go. I think this one's about right. This little thing, it has a Phillips head in it. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. Always seem to find about the right size flat head screwdriver, and we'll go for it. Now I'm just going to kind of pin it down with a bit of that. Oh, my fingers are almost in the way. So I might have to get in the way here because I've got to go for this little screw, and all I'm going to do is turn this fella, and as you can see, when I start turning it, it goes the wrong way. Yay! Alright, not intended. Not intended at all. Bloody hell, I was getting a minus on the output there. You guys are having a right laugh, those of you electrical engineers. Yep, I just decided to cross that over, and I didn't notice until I started reading on the screen that it had a minus in front of it. Bit of a knobhead, sorry. I'll be doing things like that throughout the entire series. Hopefully without sparks or fires. Haven't burned the laboratory down yet, so it'll come. So we're back at the proper setup here. Let's go again, get these connected. So fiddly. This is where we use the third hand. Okay, 10.36. Back in there onto that screw, and I'm just going to start twisting it until we go to where we want to be. I'm going to set this first guy to be 12. Not as easy as it looks. Get it right, get it right. Bloody hell. 12.14, it's kind of good enough. I'm going to be a little bit of a perfectionist and try to get it right. Ooh, got it worse. Whoa, little sparks going on there. Totally a bit of a knobhead. You've got to watch yourself when you're doing this, Dave. I didn't realise. You start touching the components on the board and it gives you a little light show.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, light show. Oh, I'm going to call that good. I'll have 11.9, 12. So you all saw that work. There's my 12. And before I lose track of this little guy, I'm going to grab a marker of some kind from here. You can use masking tape. You can use whatever you fancy. I don't really care to mess around. I just grab a marker and give myself a 12 right on top of that. I know this is my 12. If I've got a little paranoia and I think I'm going to knock it and be a bit of a knobhead again, I might get the hot glue gun out and lock this screw in place, but don't really need to bother. Just going to check it again. 11.99, that's good enough. It's good enough. These components that we use have got a variation. Most of them, like the camera, can run between 7 and 16 volts. Other things are a little more temperamental and they really want the right kind of voltage. So I do take care, and I do try and do my diligence to make that work. Right, so disconnect the battery. Let's get back on the soldering job. All we need to do is unsolder these fellas. Dirty little soldering iron. Bloop. Off you go. Bloop. Come on, son. There you go. One done. Set that aside. Let's have a go for the next one. Again, flip it over. Give it the check. We've got in, we've got out, we've got positive, we've got negative. Going to get that right this time. I got all sorts of little tricks with, like, you know, this spool just kind of hangs down under my desk, sits on top of a tool drawer that I've got chilling under there. You'll figure your tricks out. Whatever makes your life simple, guys. A little bit of pre-tinning. Whenever you're going to solder, just pre-tin the surfaces. That one looks dirty. Dirty, David. Dirty. Okay.
What were you saying earlier? Dirty. What was it?
Oh no. I have the memory of a guppy.
Oh, it sounded so funny in that accent.
Sorry, let you down on that one, pal.
It's okay.
Alright, here we go again. Solder, solder. Bloop. That's really about all you need. Once we get through this part, that's kind of... You'll realise why we jump into something that seems to be a bit further ahead, because we're not going to touch these things again for a while. But it really comes down to the fact that you need to do it while you've got this piece very accessible. So it's just the first step. It's the preemptive strike. Get your kit, knock this out, walk away. Alright, let's get back to the battery. Still using the 4S. Again, we could use the 3S at this point, but why bother? We've been through that bit. Okay, we're still good, man. We're still good. Let's do this again. And positive to positive, negative to negative. How's our chat going, Dave? We got anything going on there? Am I missing out?
Good. We're chatting it up with Drone Singer. He was at the Drone Nationals too.
Nice. Man, such a cool crew at that event. I loved it. I had a real good blast. It was just a couple of days of sweaty epicness. Okay, down we go, down we go. Give me the voltage. Looking for 5, looking for 5. Come on, son. Doesn't take a lot. As you can see, my fingers are not spinning this independently. That's good enough for me. 502, I'll take it. Like I said, you can have a little variance. Done. Next. Plop these back off. Alright. Give me a 5.
The labeling's very important.
Man, we've cooked a component or two, haven't we? We're like, oh no, I'm sure this one was the 5. No, we smoked some devices. We smoked the nays. That's what it was.
We've smoked a lot of things.
Smoked a lot. It's Colorado, baby. Welcome to the mountains. What did I do with the other one? Bloody lost it. Oh, there it is. Cool, I got all my electrics in one baggie, so I'm going to drop those right back in so I don't lose them. That's where I'm going to look for them the next time I go through. I'm going to reference things like that. Actually, we are not even on that screen. I can just have them both going. So smart. Alright, done. Okay, next, start working on the arms. Put this bit of gear away. You don't need it for much, that's why I say just get whatever. Get a cheap one as long as it's fairly accurate. You don't want something that's not accurate. But I think there's some really good reviews out there for stuff that functions to get you through with just a little bit of outlay.
Will's telling you not to short your bat.
Crikey! Bloody hell, dude, good looking out. Look at that. Still got that plugged in. That would have been a bit of a light show. Like I said, I haven't burnt the house down yet. Good job, Will!
Will, if you could just be here for safety at all times, that'd be great.
God,
That'd be
dude.
great.
Good looking out, bro. I need another drink. I can't wait to do something stupid. It's not the first time either. It's definitely happened to me. I mean, you're paying attention, you're thinking of 1,000 things. So special. Alright, let's move along. We don't need the bits that came out from the motors. Go ahead and keep them, because now you're a droney person. You want some random spares. You never know when you're going to need something like this. Put them in your kit, put them in the box. Do what you got to do. My little minion helper helped me unpack all my motors. For this bit of the demonstration, we got Cobra motors. They are the 2204 2300 kV. Cracking little motor, super reliable. Everybody's loving these. They come with a bit much wire, so we'll have to do a little bit of prep work on those. As with everything with drones, the weight's everything, guys. So you don't want to. You really, sorry. Yeah, you just don't want the grams. You don't want any of the weight. If it doesn't have to be used, cut it off. The less grams, the easier it is to throw the drone around a corner. Yeah. Oh bugger! There's a bit of a shit stick. I might have to steal a bit of wire from somewhere else.
Happens.
Raw. Okay.
Happen.
We'll fix that. No worries. Same. Bloop. Off you come. See ya. Take a bit more care when you're doing yours rather than me, because you are going to want to reuse these pieces of wire. They do have a function. I was just being a little bit unruly there.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Indeed. Because you can't push that back in. That's crap now. Right. Put these aside for later use. In far better shape. This guy too, we're done right now. So we're going to put all this stuff back in the kit bag. Back in that goes. No need to mess with that. And we make a move into the next couple of pieces. We are going to worry ourselves about the arms. ESCs. One of the first things you're going to do with ESCs is cut off this heat shrink. Everything you don't want heat being kept in. That causes a bit of fire. They are very heat sensitive. But you also have to recognize that carbon is electrically conductive, so you don't want these little components touching this. So one of the first things we do, and we are going to call out all of these measurements within the build doc. You can obviously do it and follow along with me. But this is all cut down to size. We're going to take 45mm chunks out of this. Everything's in millimeters. Sorry, USA. I just refused ever since I've gotten here to learn inches. I always hated fractions when I was in school, and then when I came over here I'm like, bloody hell, people still use those things called eighths and tenths. It's like, and it's not just for the green stuff. I was like, this doesn't make sense. You've really got to figure out how to do the millimeters, America. We love it. So it's going to be pretty good, pretty close. You're just looking for 4 chunks of this, and as you can see from the arm, you've got different holes in it. The motor holes, we've just got a couple of extras that you can work with here. What we want you to do is push this up so that you cover what I'm going to call the 3rd hole away from the motor. You just about cover that and you're going to have it in the right spot. Do that a couple of times, bust out your heat gun, shrink it on, move on. At this point, I don't care which way around these arms are, but I do just want to start pointing out, you see these arms, they are keyed. They are going to be very, very, very important. I'm going to labour on that one till you're blue in the tooth about which way round you're going to start mounting motors and having a look at this gear. Quick little heat. Not that this is quick. But I keep this thing set at 200 degrees. One of the reasons, it doesn't hurt your finger too bad if you do hit it, whereas a heat gun's going to really singe the flesh. And it doesn't burn the nylon braided mesh that we've got. So it really does kind of 2 good functions. Makes me happy. I like this tool. I watched one of my wizards down under using it, and instantly, as soon as I saw one of his little video clips, I went hunting online for it, found it, and came up with it. Now's when I need that 3rd hand for a beer. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Nah, I'm good, mate. I'm going to use my... Oh, I would use that. I'm going to have to move that over. I'll just clamp this right in it. I'm going to have that on the ready. I was actually thinking about that when I was looking at this Panavice. Guys, you got to check out Panavice. They're all over Amazon as well. I'm a big Amazon Prime fan. For those of you international, just check it out, man. Panavice. I think it might be panavice.com. They've got the coolest little vise for doing jobs like this. You're going to need a vise or at least a really strong pair of grips. But in the case where you don't have a third hand rocking all the time and available to you, you're going to want something kind of holding the drone in place. So I'm going to just pull this right into the edge of the view. Gold little Panavice. This thing's wicked. It's on a vise itself onto the table. You undo this guy right here. It swivels on a 360-degree head, and then you've got all the control here. So you can go all the way around and all the way down. So whatever you put in, you're really going to find the flexibility to be able to have it where you want it to be. Lock that down. That stays in place. Give it a bit of that, and you're off.
What's the heat gun brand and everything?
The heat gun is WEP858D. We're going to have to throw a link up. Dave, go into our recommended hardware list for us. And right in there... Oh, actually, no. Go in the build log. You've got access to the build log. I'll hook it up. I'll do it over here. Just a moment. Yeah, an embossing gun. You're right there, Nuzzle. There's loads of tools out there, man. I mean, I've almost used a hairdryer on a super high heat once. But the link that I just threw up there, this thing rocks. The digital heat on it. You can get the same model of this thing with a soldering iron on the side of it. The heat's... the cost starts going up just a little. I like the two different systems that I've got. Ah, the helping hand. There we go. Now I can drink. But yeah, this is kind of one of the helpful things in this build doc. Like I said, I'm going to post it, and all these tools are listed in there. We are going to turn from pieces to fully flying 70 mile an hour. Sorry, 60. That's the rules, the law. 60 mile an hour drones.
And never a mile an hour more.
Never. No, there's no way you'll make it do that. We've throttled them. What is it? We put a limiter on it. We've got limiters. Governors. Limiters, governors. 17 years I've been here. I've only picked up half the lingo. I'm sure all of my British mates are like, wow, he sounds American. But yeah, I guess it's going to happen after this long in the country. I got tired of repeating myself so many times. I had to learn the lingo.
As you do.
Yeah. Greatest country though. I love living here. Okay, 4 of those done.
What does Nuzzle mean by an embossing gun? And he's saying he shrink wraps custom wires. Do you know what that even means?
Sure, yeah. Yeah. You know, everything in this world, guys, is kind of tinkering. An embossing gun, yeah, Dave, I'll let you throw that on. Any embossing gun. Check it out at like a Hobby Lobby or hobby store. They're designed for kind of like putting glue down and sprinkling glitter on it and heating that up, making that work. They're kind of the multifunctional tool. Lots of people have got their hands on those. They do work solid. They're not the variable heat, and that's really why I like this tool, because you've got that control over it. Even those things could get too hot on occasion. And making custom wires. It's a wiring harness, right? We're going to be messing around with wires for this entire build. We're going to be pulling these things off, and well, not these ones actually. We're going to be pulling these things off, but we're going to be soldering this here and that there, and there's just going to be all sorts of good soldering happening. And you're doing exactly that. You're making wires. All right, let's drop out of that guy. Let me get back in where I was. I don't want to change anything. All right, cool. ESCs. Let's dive into these. Those seasoned pros are going to call me out for ripping off stickers, but hey, you know what? There's always going to be changes going on ESCs, so we're not calling out any brand at this point. We're just going to kind of show you what this is going to take. We're going to take it from an ESC, a full ESC, and then we are going to cut the heat shrink off, and we're going to take off the 3 motor power wires. So you've got a signal wire and a ground, and then you've got positive and negative. These are going to be going backwards in towards the drone, and you've got a little capacitor there, and then you've got the 3 wires coming out. Those go to the motors. As you can see on a motor, you've got 3 wires in the motor. So we got to get the motor prepped, and we got to get this prepped, and that's kind of our next step. Try and whip through this pretty quick. A million ways to do the same thing, most of which at this point are a little tedious and a bit of a pain in the arse. Arse. How many little children are we really going to have watching this? Probably not too many, right? We need a warning. Okay, chuck that. Nobody needs it. Okay, I'm not going to cheat and use the third hand. Use the helping hands. Balls upside down.
Nuzzle, you're saying you color modded wires for RC cars. It's pretty cool. Like, a lot of people in the drone world, when they do their building, they'll rip off all the sheathing on all the wires and make it all the same color, you know, to get everything all color coordinated.
Right.
You can get really, really creative with it. And some of that shit looks really cool.
Indeed it does. Now don't throw anything away, guys. Like I've said earlier, even these wires right here, keep them. You're going to have another project where you can be like, man, I wished I had that thing. So heat these up. I want to just make a call out right here. I'm going fairly quick, but I want you guys to know you've got to be careful. I do not want this solder touching these FETs, these little chips. Not a good idea. They're not meant for that. So I'm purposefully pulling away, giving it a bit of heat, and just pulling that away. When I come back to solder on, I'm going to show you another trick where I kind of push it on and wipe away and push it on and wipe away. Yeah, be careful with that. Don't bust your ESCs. I think there's certain problems out there in the wild where people get this touching back onto those FETs, and then that can cause shortages, can cause fires, and it's not really something that's seen or noticed during the process. But personally, I'm super careful with that, so I've not had some of those problems. Can't be sure if it is the issue, because I'm certainly not going to set myself up for a fire or a problem. As with all things, you know, technology will change and evolve. We're always going to try to stay on the... No, not try. We are always going to stay on the cutting edge. We're always going to be doing the best, the baddest, the racing, the most ultimate stuff. So you can rely on us to make sure that we're going to come up with solid hardware and a solid approach. Make sure that we're recommending the best stuff. It's another reason I'm not calling out the brand, because otherwise this just transfers into whichever ESC we are on. I love how fast the industry moves. There's some really cool advancements in your ability to fly based upon the ESCs that you can get your hands on. There's different settings, some will handle different firmwares, you know, super custom stuff.
Drone Singer's asking if you recall seeing those.
Yeah, totally, mate, totally. Drone Singer. Man, I remember that crew
Me
too.
too. I do remember.
I love that frame. It reminds me so much of my wingsuit. I was like, that is badass. It's got all of the... Is that up on our channel? Do you want me to throw that on?
If you switch screen, yeah, you can throw it up.
Bloop! Where'd he hit that on?
Just that big one.
That
right there.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Clink.
Watch your friends.
Yeah, buddy, thanks. Good looking out, Dave. Look at you, you're getting good at this. Drone Singer. Let me throw this up. Get off that one. There you
I've
go.
seen those quite a bit on RC groups too. Which model are those again, or what are they called?
I forget that. It looks like my camera right behind him too. Coating on the wire is what can hold the heat. Never taught anyone to wrap a bare wire to make it thin. Yeah, too true, Nuzzle.
Did you get the screen swap?
Yeah, I did. I got the screen swap. We're chilling over here.
Cool.
Pretty damn sure. But yeah, man, I mean, that coating right there, you know, you're getting some aerodynamics playing in. You guys had some super custom, if I was right. Oh no, this wasn't you chaps with the custom blades, but Yeah, it's just magic to see the creativity in the builds and the designs. These guys are tiny too, and they were ripping around the skies. There's a lot of cool different models out there. There's a lot of different sizes and a lot of different options. It's pretty sweet to see. Let's get back on the build, yo. And I'm missing an ESC. Alrighty, there we go. Boom, done. Dave, I'm going to do this without the magic third hand. I'm going to... bloody hell, that's hot. Watch out. I'm going to really try to not use it, because it's all about being able to do this in a setting where you can manage it. You've just obviously got to have the right setup. Helping hands are invaluable. And I've done it on my own before, but you know, you got one of your mates and you're hanging out with them and having some beers, it's so much easier to just be like, alright, grab hold of this. Make sure they hold the hot bit too and you just hold the tools. Just in case.
It's always good.
Burn your mate.
Always.
Cool. Alright, my ESCs are done, they're prepped, those guys are ready, everything's de-sheathed, pre-tinned, yay, because it's been unsoldered, so pretty stoked. Next, we're going to start working a little more on the arms. I'm going to get one of my plates out. Right. Bottom dirty plate. Now we've got something called a dirty and a clean build. That's how we reference them. Clean build. It's got more vibration dampening built into it and an extra section of carbon. The dirty build, one less section of carbon bolted right onto what we call the dirty frame. Dirty frame's got all the vibrations. This is where arms are going to get mounted carbon to carbon and you're going to get some vibrations. But with the correct tuning and the correct equipment, no problem, no worries. You're going to be able to just kind of manage that and deal with it. So we're doing the dirty build. We're not going to go for the clean build. That'll be a later video series and we'll just show the differences. Same. Keep your wires, put them aside. Never know what you're going to do with those, so I just kind of have a bucket. One of my favourite things when you get the GoPro, you get this wonderful little bucket to chuck stuff in. Kit tool favourite. So, bottom dirty plate. There's a front, that's up here, and there's a back, that's down here. And you've got differences in the carbon. You can see there's a couple of holes down the bottom. This is for zip ties, and then you've got one up the front. So that's how you're going to orient it. I'm going to just basically start orienting this away from myself always. And you're going to see why these arms are keyed right here. We have got the ability with our frame to do something pretty neat and unique. You can choose to set yourself up on a, we're going to call it the 5-inch arm setup or the 6-inch arm setup. And that's what these slots in the arms are for. Now we're going to build this in the 6-inch arm setup and then show you how you're able to just undo 2 screws and go bloop and have 5-inch setup. A little more compact, a little more strength in the arms, I believe. Theory, not proven yet. But okay, so you've got 2 holes here, 2 holes here. That's what this is going to line up with. As you can see, if those holes are around about the same line, you know, when I overlap, I'm going to have some connected arms in the center. If I pull it back out to the 6-inch position, then, you know, holding it over those holes, we got the ability to take a 6-inch prop. So with the invention of 2 screws, plop, in you go. So this is why it's extremely key to have these now figured out which way round they are, because if you start messing around and you get one of these wrong and now you're looking like this, now all of a sudden you've got that problem. So let's just be super clear. This is why we're doing it, this is what we're doing, and we're going to keep referencing this to make sure that we keep these the right way around from this point forwards. Cool. Don't need that for a little while. Right now, we are going to mess around with a couple of standoffs. Kind of pick the battles at different times. Nope, kit comes out. I need some screws and I need some standoffs. Bloody hell. Right, so I'm going to grab my bag of those, grab my bag of 10 mils. Got a whole bunch of these. I'm really just going to go for 4 and 4. 4 of these, 4 of these. Okay, back in the pile. I'm going to go for some 10 mil standoffs. This is just the landing gear. You guys don't have to do this. I'm a big fan of it. I like some landing gear. You can mess around with the length of these, whatever you want to do. We're just going to use some female 10 mil nylon standoffs. And we're going to drop all the rest back in the kit. Use that for later. Alright, here we go. Blap, blap. Cool. Going for a bit of that. Again, I'm not going to mess with these arms. I really don't want to get this wrong, so I'm just going to be careful about the way I pick it up. I'm going to use this pill-shaped hole because it gives you a little more flexibility to be able to get in and out once the wires are going through. Stick a finger on that, no worries. We can always tighten this stuff down later, but for this one I find it's really quite easy to just finger tighten, finger on the top. Don't really need to get a screwdriver on that. Good enough. And this really isn't going to hamper gaps that you're going to want to punch through and fly through because they're so short. They're not going to stick out, especially when your drone's ripping along at that kind of an angle. This does not become a delimiting factor for you. Delimiting. I'll learn English one day.
You know the proper English.
For an Englishman, my English is really bad. A really difficult language. The one subject I did absolutely crap in. Okay. Done. 410 standoffs. Cool. Time to do some motor work. Let's just pull those apart a little bit. Not really mess with it too much. One at a time. I'm going to pull these guys in. In the build doc, we talk about the millimeters from the motor bell all the way out to where you want to cut it off. These guys, we found a hell of a lot of luck with the fact, easy Tiger, easy, with the fact that they, in the factory, in this specific run, seem to make a short wire and then go, oh man, we need to give these guys more wire, so they did. Well, I don't need it. But what I do want is their pre-tinned joint that they did in the center right here. So I'm actually just going to go to the edge of where I know that they've tinned, and that's pretty easy to see. You've got the sheath, and then there's a bit of an awkward shape, and I'm just going to snip that off. I'm going to snip it off from there, I'm going to snip it off there, and I'm going to snip it off there. Blah, done. Again, keep your wires. Hello? Getting all up close and personal.
Trim your nose hairs?
Fortunately, it was just the microphone. I don't think I was tickling it. What a wonderful present that is when you turn 30. Oh, take some nose hairs.
Fuck, I'm 29.
Ah, bro, you've got all of it to come. Nose hairs, ears hairs. That's your gift from yourself to yourself. Okay, this bit's a bit of a pain in the arse because it is pre-shrunk heat shrink. And there's multiple ways to do this. And so I found that my preferred way is not to do this at this moment because it's a bit dodgy messing with a scalpel in your fingers. So I'm going to chop all these off and we'll get back to stripping the wire because we're going to want to get to that. So yeah, bang, right across those three. Off we go. Done. There we go again. Done. Easy Tiger. And right there. Done. Okay. Next, we're going to need a couple more screws. Little 5 mils. Where'd you go? Hello? Did I put them out there already? Oh, I did! There we go. Pretty special today. Even after just one beer. Special every day. Better. Cool. No, didn't get enough out. I need 8 of them. The motor holes. We've got a different configuration of motor holes on the arms to basically accommodate whatever manufacturing, whatever layout, factor and format on the motor arms that you are trying to work with, should you only buy our carbon frame. If you're one of the advanced builders, a lot of people do that, so they're going to get just the carbon only and they're going to put all their own stuff to it. So we wanted to make sure that we've got all the right holes to fit all the right motors. That is not, I don't know how accurately you can see, but that is not a true equal distance between these guys and these guys. So they're only going to fit 2 screws. Perfectly fine. Been flying like that for ages, so no worries. Super helpful to have done the step that I did earlier with the landing gear, because it's going to help me not get this part wrong should I mix my arms up. And I know which way around they're going. So I'm just going to go around the horn one at a time. And I get another tool. 2. And we're just going to start dropping the motors in here. You really want to make sure that the wires are facing down the arm. That's the way you want to start with it, towards the drone. Flip it over, and then you're just going to look down these holes and you're going to see which 2 line up. 2 do not, 2 do. And then for me it's going to be that one and that one on this motor. You get one of the bigger motors and it's that one and that one, but for the 2204s it's these 2 on these arms. Drop a screw in, drop a screw in. Definitely a bit of a trick right now. You know, the holes are only just big enough. You want this to be nice and tight. You're going to line up those screw holes, and then just kind of hold it all in place and just give it a go. You're going to give a little bit of a twist to one, and then I like to do a tiny bit of a twist to the other. I don't really want to do either one all the way, because otherwise I find that it pushes the motor off, and then it can be a real bear to get it in. But that's my trick, and I'm sure loads of you have had loads more problems than that doing motors before, so hopefully that helps a lot of people out. I'm kind of taking it easy, just like doing a wheel up on a car. You don't do one screw up all the way first, you just kind of keep going backwards and forwards, one and then the other, one and then the other. Rip that out, done. Alright, round the horn we go. Till our 2 hours. Cool, cool, cool. Alright man, we get as far as we get, eh? Same again, wires down the arm. Start dropping in the screws, go for it. It's probably...
So Jace says, do you use bullet connectors from the motor to the ESC, or do you solder the motors directly to the ESC?
Yeah man, everything's a solder job. Bullet connectors are just they're going to fail you. They're going to vibrate out. Even screws are going to vibrate out. So I've never used a bullet connector. I've always soldered. I've had too many friends, teammates, peers, all the rest of it do that, and they're all like, oh man, it's just no good. You don't want your gear dropping out the sky because of something like that. So no. Of course I made the first one look easier, now this one's being a right wanker. There we go, got it. Half the time I'm looking sideways across this, I'm looking across there to see if one of those sides has popped up as I'm trying to screw it in. Stops anything strange happening. Do up one, do up the other, do up the other, because it will go in funny if you don't. Always solder. Soldering's not that much of a big deal, guys. You'll get used to it. It was definitely not something that I was thoroughly impressed by having to do when I got into the sport. I'm like, man, can't you just click it in? And then you realise that soldering's really the only way to go. You want it to last, you want it to survive a crash, you want it to be rock solid for you out in the field, no messing around, and just do the extra couple of minutes that it takes to do a solder job. There we go. Sometimes it's the way that you hold it that makes the difference. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. You can always tell if you've got it lined up properly too, because that silver spot in the center, the silver drive shaft, prop shaft. Thank you, brain. Well done, remembering that after 3 minutes. that's what's the center mark of the hole, and that's going to let you know that you're kind of lining it up right when you're going for the screw holes. It's really, 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 really important that you use the correct length screws that we provide and we tell you. Because if you look very carefully, you can see through the bottom of the motor mount. Let's see if I can show you guys that. Yep, see that air gap? On the top side of that air gap is the bottom of the copper coils. And if your screw touches those copper coils, well, then you're not going to fly. Things will spark and things will smoke, and once you let the magic smoke out with all things electric, you can't get it back in.
So you're saying you want to screw the shaft into the center of the hole?
Indeed, there's a very accurate summary of my description. Thank you. It's like describing an MMA fight. It just sounds wrong the entire time. Like, this is a couple of full-grown men, right?
Just grounding and pounding.
Quick. He's on top of him, he's wrapped him up, he's locked his legs around him, and now he's going to ground and pound him. He's got the choke on him. It's like, man, that's my move. Yeah, damn it. Come on. You cheeky bastard. Just a moment. Couple of turns to start. There we go. I'm always like flipping it over. I'm checking that drive shaft in the center, and then I'm trying to give it a couple of turns, make sure I've really kind of locked it in. I'll check it again. It's kind of, I guess I should think out loud a little more with some of my process here. A little tedious, but this is why it takes, somebody alluded to earlier, like how fast you can build a drone. Now 4 hours is about as quick as you can do it. Because you can't skip this. It's got to happen, hasn't it?
Well, and it's really not about going fast, you know, like if you want to get in the air, maybe, but
yeah,
if you want to build it right, and, you know, you take your time, you do everything right.
It's true. And I don't use the stock nuts that come with these because they don't have a thread lock on them. Oh yeah, these ones do now. Well, they never used to. But either way, I toss them because mine are purple and it looks cool. But you're going to keep these just in case you lose a purple one. Same. Keep your spares.
It's probably a good place to...
Yeah, you think? Knock her off. Alright. We'll get back into a bit more of this. Some of the tricks and the tips. How not to cut your finger off. How to trim this. How to get the ESCs mounted on the arms. Cover them with a bit of heat shrink. And have something that looks pretty clean at the end of it all.
Yeah, we're going to keep walking you guys through the rest of the build. We're going to be back on Thursday night. Again, we're going to be here from 8 to 10 p.m. So make sure you guys give us a follow on Twitter.
It is Thursday, bro.
We're going to be back on Tuesday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Mountain Time. So give us a follow. We'll follow you guys back. We want to kind of build this community and take it one step at a time and just have a good time.
Yep, share the love of the drones. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. We'll see you soon.
All right, peace.